So, tonight's episode is all about using triggers to create sounds, and what I'm doing here is evoking very much the influence of Robert Fripp and his Frippatronics, which he does. And now what I'm doing now is starting to use the drums in a very similar fashion, that in the way that Robert Fripp would use his guitar and start looping sounds to build up an orchestra. Now, he's very famous for Frippatronics through the 1970s, and one of his great collaborators during that time was Brian Eno, who's gone on to much fame, being a producer of bands like U2 and the like. Brian Eno's an incredible musician who has been quoted as saying that he uses the studio as an instrument. Okay, he's very famous for being a part of Roxy Music in the day, and but one of the things that he's also famous for is his use of ambient music, such as music for airports and all this sort of business, and his collaborations with Robert Fripp that began in the 1970s. And an album that I bought very early on in the day when that was starting out. It wasn't their first one together, but it was an album called Evening Star. And you put it on and you just lay back and you let just these sounds wash over you. An incredible contrast to the sometimes very busy work that King Crimson did. Okay, so you get this long loops of just ambient sounds, so to speak, washing over you, sort of thing. And then you take that off when it's finished and you put on, say, King Crimson's Red album, and kaboom, you know, from 1974. What an amazing album that was. King Crimson's Red album. Please just buy it. And also what I'm doing here is really working the tones of my drums as well. It really makes you think a little bit more about the way that you tune. The way you tune your drums, you know, to different modes and scales. I've mentioned F-sharp Phrygian in the past. Motifs, you know, and that's what this one is. I seem to, the recurring theme here seems to be finish it off. Tonic. There you go. A little bit more of this after the break.